You can't see yourself. It ain't on yet.
I know, maybe they'll put it on by now.
The community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, WDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Mother Georgia, she's back on live. The historic all of a sudden
I'm here talking
to the studio with our host, Brenda.
I told you they were going to be flustered.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
And happy Monday.
Yes.
Now, I've already got on Deacon Durant because he coming here late. And what I don't understand, Emily, is he turns it aside and he gets his phone. Now, we got something called a live mic, right?
So I got to go. Okay.
And what he does is he goes on this. He don't know what the mute button is on this. I guess he don't know what that is. But anyway, he goes on there and he's on the microphone where people can hear him. Where he should. I'm trying to get my audience ready. Just disrupting the show. But he late though.
But he may be late because he has on a new hat today. Looks like it's very nice. I like it. It's nice and big and black.
Didn't I tell you they were going to start?
Hey, Linda.
Hey, how you doing?
My girl.
Yeah.
Yes, we roasted her, didn't we, Linda?
You low down. You didn't roast, bet you did.
Johnny, you missed the most wonderful time on Saturday.
Oh, I'm sure I was there in spirit.
Well, listen, we hosted it was a wonderful evening. We had a formal roasting session of Brenda.
Y'all celebrated the life of Brenda Sutton-Williams.
No, they did. They didn't celebrate the life because if they didn't celebrate,
we celebrated the 65 years thus far.
Right? They didn't celebrate the life because the life would have included my ex-husband, and I couldn't. They didn't know.
Now, how did you get that?
I know from what we said.
I just said you said the life, and I'm just saying the life would have included everybody.
So for first-time listeners, you see what Emily and I have to deal with. There was no reason for her to go there.
It is the reason for me to go there because that's what I do because I'm messy.
But there were plenty of colonizers present in the building. I believe there were a lot of Brenda's relatives because she is a colonizer.
Yeah, she is.
So, we had lots of those were in the building on Saturday. Yeah. And we just had a wonderful, wonderful time. Hey, Sheila.
Hey, Sheila. How are you?
Yeah, Sheila was tuning in every show. All of a sudden she disappeared.
Well, no, Sheila, what happened was that Mr. Jackson back there tore up the thing last week. The internet was going in and out and stuff like that. And Linda and Tina both stopped me and said, okay, y'all need to correct the thing with the internet because they, with the Facebook, because they said they couldn't get on and they said they were looking. And so I made
So you're saying that it was Mr. Jackson's fault?
Of course it was Mr. Jackson's fault. If there's anything wrong, technical, Mr. Jackson did.
Well, one thing we know about Missy Brenda, she will throw you under the bus in a heartbeat.
And put the bus in reverse.
I mean, seriously.
And drive.
You know what?
And reverse.
Stop it.
And drive.
And she'll be the one that'll run you over if you're kicking rocks in the street.
What I really need you to do is to make sure, she said all y'all were off. See, Sheila, tell them. What I need for y'all to do, my favorite listeners, Linda and Sheila, and Tina should be on there because she told me to send her a link, and I did all that. I did her just like I did you, Linda. Would y'all please hit that share button?
Yeah, please hit the share button. And please, Sheila, Linda, please know that whoever else comes on, she's going to tell them they're her favorite listeners.
You just story.
Yes, she is. Everybody's her favorite listener.
Okay, she said in a minute. Well, you know what?
Linda Thomas Walker.
Yeah. Oh, give him the call-in number.
478-250-1444.
Say it again.
478-250-1444.
And before we get into today's topic, there were some people that emailed me, and I didn't forget you, that discussed wanted to know more about the grant.
Oh,
Yeah, they wanted to know about the violent prevention grant.
So they need to go to the link that we sent last week.
Right. And I don't know if we have it. I'll see, can I find it? But I just didn't want you to think I forgot about it.
If we had an engineer who was complimented more by Brenda, he would probably make an effort to find it. But
or they can just go to our Facebook page or go to the 107.9 Facebook page and scroll down one post, and it's there in the comments several times.
Emily is always a thinker.
She is. She's so smart. Do you know that Emily?
And here comes the insult. There's a compliment, and then there's a
every time.
I was not. I was just saying that Emily did my face, and it was so beautiful for my birthday.
She did your face.
Yes,
I did. I did her makeup. See, Johnny trying to go there, and she got so many compliments.
Yeah, because Emily is a miracle worker. I've seen some of Emily's clients, the before and after, and there is no way that those people were the same people.
Hey, you know, Emily won't tell it, but I will, because I throw mess and shade. So she did somebody. That lady would tow it from the floor. She couldn't hit it.
She didn't have to say it that
Mother
way.
Mother Nature didn't, you know, sometimes Mother Nature didn't bless everybody with,
Was
you know,
not kind.
I'm just saying. But anyway, Emily gonna do her before and after pictures.
So messy.
That lady called Emily and told us, take my picture.
She did. That actually is a true story. I actually got threatened to be sued.
Sure did.
Because she didn't. Oh, no. Because you showed her before.
No, let me explain. Okay, so I did her makeup. It was for a wedding, and she was in the wedding. And so I always do a before and after of all my clients. It's actually how the bride found me, through my before and afters. And so the young lady was well familiar with, you know, how I operate my business. And so it was such a drastic transformation that I decided to post it. And I posted it at night before I went to bed. Well, by the time I got up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom, I noticed I had hundreds of notifications. So I click on them to see what's going on. And I had over 700 comments on the before and after. People were saying, oh my God, that is amazing. It's beautiful. Good work, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, she got offended and took it in an opposite direction and thought that people were trying to be funny and be ugly and be nasty. And she literally threatened to sue me if I did not take her picture, her before and afters down, claiming that she didn't give me permission. And of course, I chomped back right at her. I said, ma'am, it's social media. Your pictures are all over social media already, and you are already familiar with what I do. Mm-hmm. And so I said, all you really had to do was just simply ask me to remove them. But since you threatened to sue me, I'm going to leave them up. And I did. I left them up. This was a while ago. But the irony is that, how about she took the after picture and posted it as her profile picture?
Go figure.
I'm like, how do you know, just.
No, that's not very difficult to understand.
Well, we know what she looked like before that.
Well,
picture.
I was like, but she had never worn makeup before. And I said, you know, other than the, you know, whatever she does at home on her own. But I said, people see you look like this every day. This is how we know you. So it's not, you know, why are you offended? You came to me to make you look beautiful. You came to me. Mm-hmm. You paid me to make you look this good. And now you're mad because I did. I don't understand where we're going with this. I don't understand where you're going with this. But you realize that people look at you every day. This is what we're used to seeing. So why are you surprised that people say your picture looks good? Well, Brenda got her makeup done. People complimented her, told her she was beautiful. She didn't try to sue me because, like, it just,
you know what,
crazy.
She just crazy. You know, today's show.
I knew not to say much about that.
Very good.
Johnny, you know, I got about 80 jokes for you.
Sure.
Let's not and say we did.
You know, we're not going to do it. Today's show is going to talk about family secrets.
Yeah, I heard.
And you know, I do this on a regular.
Wait a minute, hold up. What's that? I hear something.
What?
Okay.
We can't stop because we have dead
air.
I
know what it is. It's the skeletons in the closet.
Girl. And Brenda fell for it. That's what's so funny.
I know.
Like you didn't see that coming.
Oh, you know what?
Let's get those skeletons out.
I agree with you,
people.
Linda and Sheila. Yes, Linda. Yep. I will make you beautiful.
And she is a beautiful person inside and out. I'm telling you, Linda is really, really sweet.
Oh
I talk about those family secrets because all of us have some, okay? all of us have some, and our resident therapist is going to be on. She sent me a text, Emily. She says, "Is it okay if she do it while she in the car?" This is the 21st century,
What?
baby. Everybody do everything. Just take it and put that thing in the car. And she had a phone up and she turns off the video. You can do.
Well, I hope she won't be driving. If we're having a full-on discussion, I hope she won't be driving while she's doing video.
Well, she won't be. I don't know how she's doing it, but I just want her to be talking, because Andrea know what's going on. I'm telling you, I just had
Tell her to pull over to churches.
Oh, churches. Nobody want none of that. That ain't even real chicken.
Okay, well,
I just had
KFC.
a lady to call me.
Really?
And I won't even say, "Oh, you're so silly." I want to have a lady call me, and y'all know I do mediations. I just do different things about that, and and I'm telling you, the secrets that people hold that tear up marriages. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Is just phenomenal. And also, I just kind of wanted,
we've got some
Lord,
secrets going on already.
She said my mama died and carried her to his grave. All I want to know who's my daddy was.
I'm in the same boat as you, Linda.
And and it's hurtful when you get older.
I'm sorry.
The private chat, something. Right?
You know what? Don't pay her no mind. It's just something that came across the screen.
Yeah.
But Lynn, I understand how difficult that was, because when she said that, and that comes from Linda Hart. I helped Linda with her DNA. Just like I helped you with your DNA.
And you're going to help me with mine.
And she got close. And you're pretty close to finding out who your dad is.
I am.
Correct?
I'm very close.
And just like Linda is, because we help Linda, I help find like her sister, but we won't even talk about that sister of hers though. Linda, I ain't gonna throw shade on your sister.
Please don't. Let's be nice today, Brenda.
I am being nice, but
the topic is already loaded, so it
is a loaded topic,
nice.
Because people, especially in the black, I won't say, but this black and white, but in the black community, they keep all kind of secrets. She said Brenda was speechless. I am speechless because
when did that happen?
See, you so low down.
I know that's rare.
Let me look out the window because I know pigs are flying.
You know what? This is a very serious topic.
I know, but today. She said you were speechless.
And I mean, I don't know. There's secrets in my family that got me some secrets in yours too.
I'm sure.
There's a bunch of them in yours.
I'm sure there's many kids that have come to the planet from my family.
Huh? And I'm just telling you. See, and
is that Andrea?
Well, is it? I can't tell.
Yeah, that's her.
Yes.
Hi, Andrea. How are you?
I think she's connection issues.
Oh, we're fine. You in the car?
We hear you.
I'm in the car.
We're gonna have connections issues.
That's Goldie.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Her hair is gold.
Her hair is beautiful.
It's gold.
Hey, Andrea, if this is not going to work, we can switch topics because we've got another one. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh my goodness.
How about what if we just hang her up and try another connection, have her call back?
Okay, or we can do it another time. She said,
have her call back.
Have her call in on the phone, and just don't do it that way.
But then that may hog up the phone line.
Oh, it would.
So you can just let her talk for a couple of minutes.
Well, Linda, she's having trouble being related to her black sister. You know what? I'm gonna tell you, Linda is half and half.
Like you.
And like you.
No, you got like 80%.
But Linda, you're a lot of times, when we're dealing with, these secrets, you don't ever know what's going to come out.
No.
And I didn't know that Linda was half. I knew Linda had good hair though. She got real good hair. Her children got good hair and everything.
You got to be kidding me.
What?
And we need to have a whole show on that good hair. What is considered good hair?
Well, Well, let's just say that her hair is curly.
Mine is curly.
Well,
it's just curlier than yours.
Well, all right. But then Linda is less curlier than mine.
Okay.
So, any rate, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get Andrea back on there. See, there she go.
Brenda's mixed with Jew.
I
agree.
Jewish. I am. And I celebrate that.
Mm-hmm.
I celebrate everything that I'm mixed with, and I can't speak for other. See, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. I do want to say this: if we're not able to get Andrea back on, and sometimes that happens, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We may have to switch topics.
I think she'll join back in. She probably just needs to get to a place where
she's picking up her child and everything. So
Yeah.
It may be where she can't, come in there, whatever. And so if we do, then, we've got, like about 45 minutes on the air.
Well, let me say this. What about, sometimes family secrets are kept, to protect.
It is.
To protect, the person that they're keeping the secret from, but how far should the secret go to protect? And at what age should you reveal the secret, or what age should you go ahead on and tell the person, what's actually going on?
I think that you should just always walk in truth, because when you walk in truth, then you're able to stand tall. And then you can work with the issue that you're going through. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can work through it, but you can't work through it if you don't know it. So and let me ask you this: is it a protection for the victim, or is it a protection for the person who's keeping the secret?
And it could. I think that in the mind of the secret bearer, they may think that they're trying to protect the other person, but I think in truth they're trying to protect themselves. They don't want themselves to look bad. Like in my family, per se, that there's many secrets in most families, and sometimes you keep the secret because you don't want yourself to look bad. And in my case, that was absolutely what happened. So for many, 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 many years, a secret was kept from me. And it's like, we're all adults. Like, we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And just go ahead on and say, call a spade, because we pretty much already know the truth. That you gathered from other family members, right? And so when the truth is finally revealed, it's like, so you've been holding this all of this time just because you didn't want to look bad. And that's selfish.
I have, y'all know I do genealogy. So I had a relative contacted me, and she said, do you know this particular relative? And I'm like, yeah, let me go through. And I did the genealogy on it. Well, come to find out, her mother lied, to her. Her dad was a bigwig in the community, like a big time judge and that kind of thing like that. And so she had the baby with somebody that she worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And so he never acknowledged his baby, but she always knew she was different. Kind of like, when I say like you, I'm talking about the inner side characteristics. Like, she was an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
She was very, all the other kids were not like, I'm talking about their personalities were different than her personality. And then, so come to find out, when I told her about our relatives, our family makeup, she was like, I'm just like you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so it made her feel a different kind of way, because for once in her life, she felt like she belonged.
Mm.
And when she confronted her mama lied. Until she got that DNA. And when she told her mama about the DNA, then her mama confessed, oh, well, I had an affair. Me and your dad was separated. I had an affair with this guy that I worked with on the base. He was a soldier, and he didn't know. And when I reached out to the family, and he's a dirty something, because it is his child. So when she reached out,
whose child is it?
It's somebody in my family's child.
So it's not the soldier.
It is the soldier is somebody in my family.
Oh. Okay.
And when she reached out, I reached out to him. When she reached out, they didn't respond. When I reached out to him, he didn't respond. Now his son don't know who he is. He's kind of a weird kind of guy. And I think they think that she want money or something like that from them. But when people reach out to you like that and try to connect with family, they don't want your money. They just want to know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They don't want nothing from you.
They just want to be free.
Well, it is freeing to know the truth. Johnny, kind of like you, ain't it?
What do you mean?
Oh, didn't you want me to do your DNA?
Oh, sure.
You know why too, right?
Yeah.
I ain't put it on air blast, but I'm just saying.
No, I didn't know. I don't know for sure who my mother's father is. So I want to know. There was a guy that, some years back when we were little.
I didn't know that.
When we were little kids, it was only two of us, me and Bruce. So my mother and father took us to somewhere right outside of Savannah, and I guess it came up fruitless. But later in my life, there was a gentleman that came by my house, and my dad wakes me up and says, somebody here. And I'm like, who? Come and meet him. So the guy said he was my mother's dad's brother. And I was asking him about my grandfather, if he was truly that person. And I had been told that my grandfather was dead at that time. But my supposedly great uncle, who was there at the house, said he wasn't. I took him over East Macon somewhere, and I never heard from him again. So later, I began to think, well, maybe he was actually my grandfather and not saying he was, trying to see what kind of reception he would get from me. So all of this is speculative, but that's
well, Johnny, I got your test. I mean, I've got your kit, and they're on sale. And so I'm going to do some other people's kits. I pray that everything works the way it did, because I want to get like 10 of them so I can do them, because I came real close to you, Emily. I'm real close to you. I got you to your first cousin, and to Linda, I got her to her half sister. So we know that it's two brothers, but we just don't know which brother it is, because it's half.
That's the same for me. We narrowed it down to two brothers that are two guys that should be my father, and one of them has passed away. The other one is still living, and that's the one that's living is the one that we actually think is my father. But the craziest thing, he keeps saying that he was willing to do the DNA test. I bought another kit. I sent it to him. I got my cousin that we discovered through the DNA tracing to go over there to help him actually do the test. But it's almost like they say they want to do it, but you give them the opportunity to do it. And, he still hasn't spit in the cup. He still hasn't, provided his DNA. So you wonder, does he really want to know? Does he want to keep it a secret? I would think at this point, I'm fully grown, so I'm not asking for anything financially, not asking for money. I just would like to know, if he's the one, and it would really help me out if he went ahead on and did it. And that would narrow it down, because it's only one of two people, and the one of them has passed away, one's still living. So if it's not him, clearly,
and I think too that, and Sheila, we're going to address your issue too. I would just say to Linda, there's a lot of white men who fathered children with black women. Well, no.
Captain Obvious.
I know it. No, what I'm saying though is that the black women wouldn't tell, because sometimes they were threatened or they were raped or whatever the issue was. So there's a lot of mixed children. So sometimes out of fear, I'm going to say out of fear, sometimes people may not tell who the baby's daddy is.
I agree with you. But when you say raped or out of fear, I think there should be an addendum there. Sometimes they voluntarily did because they wanted money.
What kind of money?
I'm just saying, it wasn't always rape and fear.
Well, you know what? Now, see, people do what they got to do.
It wasn't always rape and fear.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
That's right. Her mama was a child. She was 14. Linda's mama was 14 when she had her. And I know for a fact, as a white man, I know this. And I know that he comes from a prominent family right here. Okay. Very, very much so. And they scared. They scared that Linda gonna find them because they think Linda don't want nothing from them.
She just want to be free.
She just want to be free and just want to know. And there's so many things that go along with that. You know, and there you go. She's right. Andrea said they can't consent when they're children. When you're 14, you can't consent to that.
Back in the day, you couldn't. These 14-year-olds today are a bit different.
Oh, you just silly.
I'm just saying.
Oh, it's the truth.
I put this out here because there's so many secrets.
Brenda thought I was kidding.
What?
When we grew up on the Mary Tyler Moore show or whatever, Dick Van Dyke, they were married and they still slept in separate beds. That kind of thing. There's a different life going on for a 14-year-old than it was when we.
But you know,
so my grandparents slept in 2 separate beds.
Saying,
but you know what? She said they're traumatized. See, these, and I'm just saying, Andrew, Linda's mama was traumatized, and perhaps even yours.
And I agree with that.
Because they could have been, because, you know, being Black in America during a certain period of time was traumatizing within itself.
Well, my mom wasn't traumatized. She was 31 or 32 when I was born. So,
but she could have had some back in the day.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying though, and then too, she has experienced something because she's not talking. You follow what I'm saying? I mean, a person would just say, "This is who your dad is," or whatever like that, or "This is who I think your dad is," unless something was going on the inside of them. Something has to motivate them.
Now,
I would agree. I agree
with that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just stop. I'll be your pappy.
I'm the pappy.
I'm the pappy.
That's why I call you Pop. Hey, Dad.
Y'all so silly.
Hey, Daddy.
Now, one of the things
Can I borrow $20?
Oh, don't ask him that. One of the things that Sheila brought up was this. Okay, one of the things that Sheila
that was very interesting. What Sheila brought up too.
What Sheila brought up was interesting when she said that family secrets is sometimes medical.
Yeah, that was very.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for bringing that up because that's a great topic
about childbearing problems.
Well, the childbearing problems, but people don't tell you when you go in to, to say go to the doc or whatever like that, and they say, well, do you have any health issues, that runs in your family?
Yeah.
And then you say you don't know, and then you give them the history that you have, and then you don't know.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? I mean, I'm just saying, how do you keep things like that? That poor lady, she said she's having children and there was an issue with childbearing. I'm going to say this, even in my family, I could only have one child naturally. And my grandmother only had 2 children. And what she said was that she's talking about kidneys. Right. My grandmother told me she had problems with her pus tubes, which those are her fallopian tubes. But
fallopian tubes.
Fallopian. Okay, but just keep on saying it right for me, okay?
Okay.
And she
hush, Johnny.
And she so she could only have 2 children. And so with that being said, had I known more about what went on within our family, with the female issues, which I was aggressive in it, I needed to deal with that.
Yeah.
But what Sheila said so often, for example, especially with males, let's say that colon cancer runs in your family. You don't talk about it because it's colon cancer. And that's a secret too. Then you get colon cancer, you're not aggressive with it because you don't know it running your family.
Yeah.
That's another reason why you need to know who your daddy and your mama is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, just if you know that 6 of your uncles have already had this, then you'll know that you might need to go get checked out.
Or heart problems. One of the things that I've learned from doing family history, that heart disease ran in our family. Nobody told me that heart disease ran in our family. But when I did the history, I found out that it ran in the family. So I know that I need to be careful because that's the issue. That's why Emily.
So does that mean thievery runs in my family? Because my great grandfather that stole that possum.
Jesus.
Well, they say
the man was hungry.
No, they tell
clearly.
Me. My mama said some people in her family were such thieves, they would steal the sweetness out of ginger cake.
Lord have mercy.
She talking about they would take prostate cancer. She's right to the grave. It's, prostate cancer running the family. You need to make sure that about
Hey, Tina.
hey Tina, you need to make sure that Tina, we're talking about family secrets. And we talked about two things: not knowing who your baby daddy is, and also how health issues can take you to, and not talking about those, how people can continue to have those,
But there's another side to that as well.
What?
Because I am aware factually of 12-year-old little girl gets pregnant or something, and they send her off, and she has the baby, and then the aunt that lives in that town keeps the kid, and they send that 12-year-old, 13 now, back to the 8th or 9th grade and let her complete her life and become a senior and graduate high school. And that baby is left in Ohio or Michigan or somewhere and being raised by
a relative.
Yeah. And they don't, and so those secrets that go on with families too, that people never seem to talk about.
And it's interesting because I did some genealogy on a lady. Her mama died. She had mental problems, and she like seizures or something. She fell in the creek, and I found the death certificate. She started crying where it said that her hat was floating on top of the creek. And her uncle raised her. She didn't know that was her uncle.
Right. It's a lot of
she
that.
She said that
on.
She thought it was just somebody. I did the genealogy, and I said, "This is your uncle." She said, "No, I didn't know that." Because the secret, I don't know why they didn't tell her who the people were that were raising her. And she doesn't have dementia where she would have forgotten it. But it's really important that if you have a secret, tell the folks. I guess it wouldn't be a secret. It don't need to be. You need to tell people the truth. If you're raising somebody else's child, tell them. And you're right. And folks still doing that.
So when should a secret stay a secret? When should it?
With our resident counselor out there, Andrea, when should a secret stay a secret? I don't think it should ever stay a secret. I think you need to tell folk the truth. If you're dealing with a little kid, you can tell a kid, you stand with grandmama or granddad. But now this is the problem. It's still fear. Because the people that are raising the child don't want that child to leave. So they don't want that child to have a relationship with the mama.
Yeah, because they don't want to miss out on that advanced child credit.
You're so silly. Or they fear separation from the child. When the child go visit the mama, they come back crazy.
Yeah.
And then as a person, you've got to, so some people don't want to deal with that. Really, Emily, I think that, I would say whenever you can sit down and talk to them, maybe 12, 13 years old or whatever, just tell them the truth. Because the big thing to me is the fact, here it is, truth. Hilda Harris, she said, truth or greed, still fear. It is. Tell them and let them deal with that. Because if you don't tell them, then they end up like, Emily, you're a sweet person, you're a good person, but you're going through changes because you want to know who your daddy is.
Okay, but listen, so dig this. So what if this lady actually went on an excursion, went on a vacation with her buddies to Vegas?
Okay.
And actually really, really gets
and had a
raped.
good time?
Really gets raped.
Okay.
At 18, 17, with football team or anything. And they don't have any clue who this person is that raped her. And then they go back and she goes through the pregnancy and has this kid. And during her pregnancy, this guy comes to her and says, I'm going to go through this with you. And then now that kid, that's a result of the rape, is 22, graduating college now with honors. And this is her mom and her dad. When do you say, look, I'm not your dad. Your mother doesn't have a clue as to who your father was.
You better tell them.
So do you keep that a secret or do you tell them?
You better.
Well, you know what? I have a good friend of mine. She doesn't live here anymore, but she has a daughter, and I think she was around 19, 20, 21. She got raped, and her daughter was a product of that rape. And I think because she held that in, she had this not a hatred, but she had this ill will towards her daughter the entire time she was raising her daughter. And she would always say, basically every time I look at her,
she thinks of being raped.
It reminds me of, the guy that raped her. And I said, well, you got to get counseling because you done raised this girl. And now the girl, the daughter has had a son. And, you're doing yourself, the daughter and the grandson a disservice. You got to go get counseling to let that go. And, I'm not one to tell any woman what to do with her body, but I said, if it was that tormenting to you at the time, how come you didn't go ahead on and have an abortion? Why didn't you do an adoption?
She should have,
or anything like that.
Anything like that, right?
I mean, I can't judge. I guess she did what she felt was the best set for her at the time.
Right.
But that's a prime example of why it's important to discuss those things or figure out the best option, because essentially she ended up, I would say loosely, ruining the daughter's life because she wasn't cruel to the daughter, but she wasn't very very kind, if that makes sense.
But in that scenario, so then what do? At 2, do you tell the kid, the man that raped me, a man raped me, and that's why
I don't think
do you do it at 7?
No,
do you do it at 13?
I don't think.
Do you do it at 18?
I don't think
that?
You should ever. I put it like this. I'm not sure how I feel about telling a child that, because that is so traumatic.
So when they're 30, do you?
I would just probably say something. It's a way to do it, but do it through counseling, and you really need to take it. Y'all are listening to us out there. Go to somebody professional. Don't try to do this by yourself.
No, I'm asking.
I think 18 is a good job. I'm sorry, not 18.
It's a must. It has to be done.
I think it's important for the person to know. So in my instance, I don't know who my biological father is, right? Now, I'm not a product of rape. I do know that much. But at some point, my mother, had I been a product of rape, I think that my mother should have told me at the age where I was able to comprehend it, which in my opinion, around 15 or 16, a girl understands rape. She understands what comes from rape. I think 7 and 8 years old, 9, 10, that's too young because they don't understand at that age. But I think once the child or once the teenager starts asking questions and they're able to comprehend, that's when it's time to tell them. I don't think you should wait till they're 30. Can you
do the call-in number again for it?
The call-in number is 478 250-1444.
And I, I'm listening because, I myself adopted a daughter, and I was always very honest with her. But I figured out a way to do it. So I just think that it's just, Brenda, deal better with truth. I'm not going to go through and try to cover it up because, I love my daughter. And her dad loved her, and so we just felt like we just hit that thing head on. And I invited her birth mother into her life. It wasn't as if I kept her away or I said, "This is I don't know who your mama name is." I didn't do that. I purposely did that. Now, her brother, because she had a brother, they chose to keep a secret with him, and it messed him up. I'm talking about the family that adopted him. I said, "Don't you want to have a relationship?" So they could know each other. They were like, I don't want him to know. Well, when he found out, it was traumatic, you see.
There's so many variations of secrets.
And that's why I put it out there. I was like, these family secrets, maybe she don't know, but it can hurt. And when you keep these secrets, and I personally think it's not about the victim per se. It's about the grown people who keeping the secrets because they know. They just won't tell.
So back in the day when the practice was this guy's married to this woman and the guy dies, then his brother,
I ain't even talking about that. I talk about my family. Okay, I'm talking about mine. My great granddaddy had 2 families. He had one, and they lived right next door to each other. He had his children. He had 12 children with her. And then he had a bunch of children over there, and they used to all play in the backyard together. Nah, that was in the 30s. He was a pimp.
No, they had land and needed somebody to work the land.
And he was a preacher. And he was a preacher.
He was being fruitful and multiplying.
He was being fruitful and multiplying. And I'm just simply telling you that I'm trying to do a family tree and I'm trying to figure out where these children are because they still a part of the family. So sometimes when you keep these secrets, it ain't all of it. I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, he died in 1936. I mean, I probably never know. I just know that it is it's challenging. Somebody put the call-in number in the comments. Y'all know I can't type.
478
478
250
Oh, put it in the comment section.
1444.
John, I know I can't ask you to do it, but Emily can do it though.
Thank you, Brenda,
What?
for exposing me and my typing skills.
Oh, you can. Oh, Emily. See, Emily. No. Oh, there he is, right there. He didn't already typed it in.
Oh, well, I did too.
Because Tina Brown said she want to call in on this subject, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who have, you know, they have these secrets and it hurt. I ain't gonna even talk about all the incest and stuff like that. The people pretend it don't go on in the black family.
It doesn't.
What? Oh, please. I can't even believe you said that. It's so much incest and stuff to go on in the black families and stuff around here. You should talk to the DA. That's what you need to do. You need to talk to the DA because those are some big family secrets that I'm not going to even talk about. And they go on in there and you don't know who, and sometimes they may know who the children's daddy is and they're not going to tell because it's some relative or uncle or something like that. I'm just saying. So it is, you know, we'll have to talk about that on another show. What's wrong with you, Johnny? Why are you over there flipping your hands?
I'm good. I'm good. No, I'm talking about
what?
my screen.
Oh, he talking about his screen. You know what's wrong with Johnny? His screen, it's got lights on him, and he don't want the lights on him because he don't want nobody to see him. That's what it is. He want.
No, it attacks my eyes.
Oh, well, his screen is frozen right now. So
yeah.
Really?
These lights are pretty bright, but you know, I heard something about colonizers and the light in their eyes. It just works a little different, and that's why their eyes are so lightly colored. Because they're attracted to the light and they can stare at the sun. You know how when you were young, your parents said, don't look directly at the sun, you go blind. But colonizers can look directly at the sun.
Wait a minute. That's my cousin, Hilda Harris. She said, don't tell it all, Brenda. I ain't telling names.
Yeah, tell them all. Tell it all. Since you want to tell secrets, you're messy anyway.
I didn't tell which one of my great granddaddies it was. It could have been many of them, you know. But yeah, he come to check your screen out. But the thing about it, that's one of the things we don't talk about it in the families. So then you don't know. You see?
And maybe it's because they just want to keep the peace. You know, keeping the peace is more important than disrupting.
She says it's hurtful to find out you have outside siblings. I knew about my half siblings. She
said it was hurtful to find out that outsiders knew about my half siblings and I didn't.
Oh, wow.
I should have been told. I have since accepted and I have forgiven.
That's huge.
And Sheila, if you don't mind us asking, how old were you when you found out about your half siblings? Were you an adult? Were you a teenager? How old were you when you found out about your half siblings? Well, I believe I've been corresponding back and forth with the cousin out in Texas, and she sent me pictures of who, you know, we think my biological father is, and she sent me pictures of his sons, and so I may possibly have a brother, and so I'm interested to know, you know, if I have multiple siblings other than the ones that I know.
Oh, absolutely. And let me just say this. Typically people find out about the siblings, right? When there's a funeral. When there's a funeral, that's when them half siblings come out.
Yeah, that actually happened. My grandfather, he was a pastor. He was 90, 95, 97, somewhere around there when he passed away. And at his funeral, his other children showed up to the funeral. And my grandfather, so at that time that his oldest son had to be in his 60s, late 60s. Showed up to the funeral. And the crazy thing is that when they saw him, they were calling him by the other uncle's name because they looked so much alike. They were almost identical. And they didn't realize that it wasn't my uncle, the one that I know. They were like, how you doing, Ricky? How you doing, Richard? And he was like, what? So yeah, it's super, super crazy. But back then that was common, how, a man would have two families on, one side of town, and have another family on the other side of town. But in my grandfather's case, he was married prior to my grandmother. My grandmother, I believe, didn't it say she was 16 on that marriage certificate when they married? And he was 31. Or something. He was older which was common, very common back then. But he had been married and divorced prior to him meeting my grandmother. So he had a whole nother family but he never told my aunts and uncles that I know. He never told them about the other family, the other siblings, the other kids. And the crazy thing is, I'm actually friends with a couple of those cousins on that side, on that other side of the family, that nobody else even knows about. Andrea, so it's crazy. It's crazy.
Andrea says that she said I don't keep the peace. I'm happy to be in the friction in the room. So Andrea, you're gonna, when these people are going through, you're talking about she want to be the counselor for it.
No, she's saying I do not keep the peace. I'm happy being the friction in the room. Meaning she ain't trying. She wants to tell the truth. She don't have a problem with being, the liaison, the person that brings the truth to the light.
Yeah, I'm glad that you know what? I need to put my glasses on.
I think so. Oh, yeah, because you messing up all of these, but it's okay. That's what I'm here for. I read. She
helped me out. Sheila just said I found out about 2 more when her dad. Lord have mercy, honey.
She said I found out about 2 more when my father was in the hospital. That's typically how it happens. Whenever something's going on or something tragic, then everybody comes out of the woodwork. Like I said with my grandfather, and you just kind of sit back and. Like, wow, how did you have, there was a whole family that existed and my family knew nothing about them. So, that's pretty intense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. But I think in my case, getting so close to finding out who my biological father is through the DNA kit. And, I would encourage anybody to do it, to go through it and do it. And you'd be surprised. And I mean, this girl, pops up. She lives in my hometown and everything. And, see, that threw me off. She lives in my hometown. She's from my hometown rather. She's still there now. And guess what she does?
What?
She's an entrepreneur.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, and she literally drives a Bentley. Like and I said, so it has to run in that entrepreneurship spirit, or
that's what I'm saying.
It runs in our DNA. And she also said that the other, who would potentially be my biological brother, this guy also owns a trucking company. So it's like the entrepreneurship gene is really, really deep in my bloodline. So I can't wait to find out the outcome of the DNA kit, and hopefully we can come to some finalization. And the good thing is that they are willing to meet. So
now I know
that's another good thing.
I know, like Linda's family, her Aunt Linda's a big pet person. She loves pets. I need you to turn that down because I'm getting back. But you need feedback. Okay. Loves ask the caller to call back. Tina, can you call back, please?
Thank you, Sheila. I hope so too. I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that it's him as well. I did show a couple of pictures to my mom, and my mom, of course, she's a little bit older. She is 72, but she says, he looks really familiar, and I think that was him in every shape and form that my mother has described him throughout my life. Picture is everything that she described. Without me ever seeing a picture of him, when I saw him, I was like, wow, this is exactly what you described. When I saw younger pictures, of course, he's older. He was older than her. So he was, maybe close to 80 now. So his pictures now, you can't really tell. But my cousin sent me pictures of him when he was younger. And his younger pictures are literally to a T who my mother described. So I'm hoping that, this is him, and, only the DNA is going to let us know, but it has to be either him or his brother, the one that's passed, because the cousin that is tied between us, she is my first cousin. So there's no other way other than for her uncle to be my father.
Now, caller, whoever it was that called us, please call back. We were having some technical difficulties, and so we need you to do that. I won't say it bothers me, but I do understand, because I do like doing the research, that the genes in my family, like I believe that Johnny and I are cousins, and that Johnny and I and preaching and singing running our family. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
And they be tearing up stuff, but I mean, they can sing. My uncles, before they passed, is Brenda? I'm watching the show. Is Brenda going to send the test? Of course, I'm going to do the test for you, Sandra. I am going to make sure. I have not ordered the test, but I will order the test. I appreciate you doing this.
Who is that, Sandra Mathis?
That's Sandra Mathis. And so I am going to make sure that you get it. And when I get it, I'm going to have you come to the house. I'm going to take the sample myself and send it off. I'm going to do that for you, because that's huge what you're doing. You know.
What happened to Tina calling?
Steve. That was probably Tina calling. But it's good to know, because the a lot of times people think of blood trait. But see, they don't think, now some people call it a knack. But have you ever noticed that some people have a knack for doing things? That's in your DNA. Emily can't say, Emily go out there, she make all kinds of soap. I saw the soap. I'm trying to tell you, the soap looked like you could just eat it. I'm like,
yeah, I'm serious.
She got all the little colors and everything. Tina Brown, I would do a test on you. So that's 2 tests. There's 2 tests I need to buy. Tina, I will do your tree. Okay, we have a caller.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
It's Tina.
Hi, Tina.
Hey, I have a comment on the secret. I think another element of that is, back in the day, even though you had spouses that stepped out, the wives knew, but it was a culture that said you stayed with your husband under all circumstances. So no matter what happened, no matter what took place, it's almost like sometimes the spouse, the wife, became a part of the secret, even though she knew there were other children.
Oh, that's interesting.
That was just information you kept in your household, and you don't tell people your business. And the churches frowned upon you getting divorces back in the day from your spouse under any circumstances. So you were taught to just take it, get through it, deal with it, and etc. I just think that does so much damage, because what it does is those secrets are buried deep. And when you don't, that saying, what you don't deal with would eventually deal with you, which is why the mother that Emily was referring to had so many issues with the daughter, because she hated a part of herself, but she couldn't understand why she was hating the daughter, even though the daughter had nothing to do with what happened to her. But she didn't deal with those issues, and I think she reflected it on her daughter, and I think it's bad. I had a cousin that got married at 14, and to a 21-year-old. Come to find out later, they were cousins, first cousins, siblings, children.
Miss Tina.
Yeah.
When you say back in the day, do you mean before World War II or after World War II?
I think I'm talking even during the time when my grandparents were around. I can remember my grandfather going out to clubs, to the juke joint like they used to do back in the day. He would say he going out, hanging out with whoever. My grandmother knew he was going out doing other things, knew that he supposedly had fathered another child, outside child. She even came to my grandparents' house for his birthday. My grandmother knew it, felt it, but she welcomed her, because back in the day, that's what you were taught to do. You stand by your mate.
So did your grandmother work?
No.
That's what I'm getting around to. So most of the time, those women would take that because that man was their only supply for money.
Well, no,
to pay their bills, to take care of
the house.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. But regardless of why they did it, they were told to do it. And it still leaves that same lasting effect, regardless of the reason why you did it, whether you were a stay-at-home wife or you worked. To have that mindset that you stay there under any circumstance.
But see that. Hey. Yes, when you take care of the house, you working. Now, Johnny, don't come in with that male chauvinist stuff. When you take care of your house, you working. But I got what she's saying.
When those women started saying no to what was the norm was when all them soldiers went off and they started.
That's correct. That's true.
When they started having to be the ones to go to the factory and work because there were no men in the country. When the men came back from the war, they said the same stuff they said to women before they left. And women used to always say, yes, I'll do it. But when women had their own money, they told them, I ain't doing nothing.
Well, that's part of them, but a lot of women would have got beat. Because it was a lot of domestic violence that was going on in those homes. Now, I know what you're saying.
Because that was a culture then. And like Tina is saying, our caller is saying that was generally accepted. And even the older elders in the community would tell you, you go back to that man, you stay with that man. Right. You know, from time to time, he may drink a little bit too much. That's okay. From time to time, he may, slap you around that, and so it was generally accepted.
And not only that, caller, I'm glad you said it, is that they will, and you better believe what I'm getting with, they'll bring the children home and have the wife to raise the children, take care of them. Now, I know what I'm talking about.
And that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was after World War II.
No, I believe you. That's true. But it's also that Joe the mailman were fathering children with that woman who she never told the husband that wasn't his child. So it went both ways. I just get tired of the narrative. Always just the woman is the victim. It has never been just one-sided. It has always been both sides
but we're talking
doing
about,
dirt.
By the way, we're talking about the secret.
We have to be honest about let's
right.
That scale is not balanced. While both parties are always guilty, the male party, because of the culture of our society, men always got the benefit of the doubt. So it's always, because even I was taught, not necessarily but by my mother, but I was taught that there's a certain amount of stepping out that a man is allowed to do. Like, oh, he's a man, they're gonna do that. Right. So men, even though both women and men did cheat, it's the scale is not balanced because it was generally accepted when a man did it. It was just like, oh, he's a man, that's what they do.
It's not that I don't get what you ladies are saying. I get it and I agree with it. But at the same time, at any point in time, I can ride down the street and I can see two dogs in the street and I could catch them doing their business, right? You never see cats doing it, but there are a lot of cats.
But you know what, though? I got what you're trying to say. I am just saying to you that Tina, we got to go. We're going to see you next week.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then. We'll talk to you later.
Call us next week, Tina.
Wait a minute. Linda said, and a lot of kids was born by the insurance man back in the day.
That's all I'm saying.
No. She's right because if they didn't have the money for their premiums, call it what you want.
Oh, brothers, you
stop. No. You know what? People need to stop. No, people need to stop pretending like they're holier than thou. People will do what they need to do to survive. If that insurance policy was a death policy, they did what they needed to do.
She did it for her husband, didn't she?
She did to pay that policy. And so I'm like, people need to stop the milkman too. And you know what I'm not saying it's right. Survival will make you do
Anthony
a lot
just
of
said
things.
milkman too. They used to make fun of me and say my daddy was milkman.
We'll continue next Monday, y'all. Be back with us.
We love y'all. Bye.
Bye, peace. We got 2 more minutes.
What?
No.
He's playing the music.
No, he got 2 more minutes. We got
You've been listening to All of a Sudden. Join them every Monday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. All of a Sudden with your host, Brenda Sutton. That's every Monday. We'll see you there.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM.